Welcome to my segment of my O-level mathematics videos in calculus as we continue. So remember the last time I talked about integration and I promised that I'm going to look at some questions where they give you the upper and the lower limit. But of course, in my previous video, I also talked about how to find the equation of the normal and also the tangent. So I'm going to look at even some more practice question. So now remember, as we looked at our integration there, remember we were able to integrate. For example, they may give you questions that say evaluate. They tell you evaluate. Maybe let's try to put up where they give you the upper and also the lower limit, and they tell you 3x squared minus 2x with respect to x. Then B, they tell you to integrate maybe 5 to then 3x squared plus 2 with respect to x. So how do you treat that when they have given you the upper and the lower limit? So now when they give you, remember that is the integration symbol. If they give you, A and B, this one here is referred to as being the lower, that is the lower limit, and that one on top there is referred to as being the upper limit. So they want you to evaluate to find the exact value when they have given you the upper limit. So we are going to integrate the same way we were doing it. So let's try to look at the solution to these ones without wasting time. So therefore they have given us to say we integrate 3x squared minus 2x with respect to dx. So remember, when you start integrating there, this is where we said if they have given you dy over dx as ax raised to the power n, and you want to get back to the original expression, what we do is that you add your index, will increase plus 1, then divide by the new power, which is n plus 1. But remember, you can put up the arbitrary constant. That's what you can do. But in this case, when they give you the upper and the lower limit, there's no need of you putting up the arbitrary constant. You only put up that constant when they have not given you the upper limit. So that's what we are going to do. So let's integrate individually each term. So that is going to be 3x plus 1 divided by the new power, which is simply a 3. In this case, minus that one is 2x. Remember, there's already a 1 plus 1. We divide by the new power, 1 plus 1, which is a 2. So we are going to put up our limits there, which is simply, that is a 3 and a negative 4 and a negative 1. So we can work out this and that can cancel. We can reduce it to b. It will simply be x raised to the power 3 minus this and that can cancel. It will be x raised to the power 2. Remember, you have the upper limit 3 and negative 1. So you can now work out with your upper limits there. So how do you work out with your upper limits? So you substitute first of all the upper limit. That's what you do. So it is going to be, I replace the upper limit. So that is going to be 3 raised to the power 3 minus 3 raised to the power 2. So this is for the upper limit. You subtract the lower limit, the value that you get from you subtract what you get from your lower limit. So again, you replace this into the whole expression. Remember, the whole expression is this one that you have found. So replace it again. It will be negative 1 raised to the power 3 minus negative 1 raised to the power 2. So this is what we are calling as being the upper limit. So you replace first of all your upper limit. So this is for the upper limit. Then you subtract what you get from your lower limit. That is the idea that you need to remember. So the whole of this 3 replacing the whole of that expression, that's the upper limit, minus, we always subtract, get the lower limit, replace again. This is what I'm having there. So let's try to work out what is 3 raised to the power 3. Remember, you can actually get to use a calculator because this is paper 2. All these concepts are coming in your mathematics paper 2, and some of the questions are actually compulsory. So 3 raised to the power 3 is simply 27 minus 3 raised to the power 2, that is a 9, minus, we work out now the lower limit, negative 1 raised to the power 3, that will give us still negative 1, minus negative 1 raised to the power 2, that will just give us a 1 there. So what is 27 minus 9? It is going to give you 18 minus, remember same signs, what do? You add, so that will be a negative 2, so it will be 18, negative and negative will change to positive there, so that is going to give us 20. So that is the value that we are getting there. If you want, you can say 20 units. So we have actually evaluated that expression. So that is what you do. Let me show you also in the second one there how you can go about that to evaluate, how you can actually get to evaluate again when they ask you. So again, they have given us the upper limit 5 and the 2, then that is 3x squared plus 2 with respect to x. So we start by integrating first of all individual terms. Remember, x plus 3x raised to the power 2 plus 1 divided by the new power, which is a 3 plus. If you have a number, you just give it x. That's what we said. So this is what we have. But we can put up the upper limit and also the lower limit. This can be reduced further. It will be x raised to the power 3 plus 2x. Of course, this is what we are having. Then the limits 5 and the 2. That's what we have. So we replace the upper limit. So I'm going to start by replacing. I'll use a different marker so that you're able to see as I replace with the upper limit. So this is going to be 5. It will be 5 raised to the power 3 plus 2 multiplied by 5. Whatever we are getting here, let me use different type of bracket so that you're able to see, minus what we are going to get from replacing the lower limit. So you replace now the lower limit. It will be 2 raised to the power 3 plus 2 multiplied by 2. So this is what we are getting from the lower. This is what we are getting from the lower limit. So we just need now to work out what is 5 raised to the power 3. It is simply 125 plus 2 times 5 is a 10. Okay, minus 2 raised to the power 3 is 8 plus 4. So that is going to give us 135 minus, and that is a 12. So we are going to now subtract 135 minus 12. So that is going to give us 120, 123. Of course, if you do that, if you want, you can put up the word units, but the final answer is simply 123. So that's the way you can actually evaluate when they give you, such terms. Thank you so much for watching. Watch out for some more practice questions.